Peace, peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom, shalom. Hotep, Islam, Alafia. What's going on, family? We are back. It's been a while. We went on a hiatus a little bit. But we are back, though, live and direct. What's going on, family? What's going on? How y'all been? We got a very special guest in the house tonight. So come on in, tap in with us. Come on in, tap in. Man, we're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about education. You know, that's my thing. We're going to talk about the family structure. All right? So what's this? Oh, we're going to talk about all that. So definitely come on in, tap in. How y'all been? How y'all Monday going? Happy Monday. Peace, peace. Salam, Islam. What's going on, family? Happy Monday. Man, if you are now tapping in, man, listen. This is DTR 360 Books. We are an online bookstore, so definitely tap in with us. We are the fastest growing online bookstore on social media right now. We have books ranges from spirituality. We have history books, children books, of course. We have self-help books, motivational books. We have any kind of book that you may be looking for. And if we don't have the particular book that you're looking for, we can definitely get the book that you're looking for through our connections. All right, so again, man, definitely tap in with us, man. Reading is key. You should try to read every day. You should at least try to read 2 pages every day so that you can get into the habit of reading. If you are not in the habit of reading, definitely you want to start off with a page or a couple of pages a day so that you can get into that rhythm of reading. And sooner enough, you're going to be reading chapters a day. If you have the time, right? Because we all know that time is limited. But, hey, listen. We find things to do, everything else that are not benefiting us, right? So make sure and find the time to read. Find the time to meditate. Find the time to stimulate your mind, body, and soul so that you can become a better person. You feel me? So, I mean, that's key. That's definitely key. I'm waiting for my guest to tap in. Let me know where y'all from. What city y'all tapping in from? Alright, let me know what city y'all tapping in from. Alright, definitely. So check out the website, dtr360books.com. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. We have over 400, 500 books right now and counting. So again, you know, I'm pretty sure that you'll find something that you're interested in. I'm pretty sure that you will find something that you may not know. And listen, you should always be inquisitive. You should always be willing to learn new things. You should always be willing to explore and dig deeper, right? Far too often, we want to just know about the surface of things. Okay, I know that... For example, I know that the sky is blue, right? But why is the sky blue? I know that plants are green, but why are plants green, right? So I was actually reading this, was reading this book, and it was talking about the sun. The sun is not actually yellow. The sun is actually white. It's white in color because of the sun rays, right? And I myself, I didn't know that. According to the naked eye, you would assume that the sun is yellow or orange, right? But that's definitely not true, right? The sun and color is actually white. So that is something that I learned just by reading the reading about the universe, just being inquisitive more about universe, and I actually happened to tap in and to learn about the sun and its color. Alright, so definitely, as I said before, you want to make sure to read, you want to make sure to explore new things, you know what I'm saying? Like, it never hurts. It never hurts because self-improvement is the basis for community development. So you should always be willing to learn. You should always be willing to develop yourself so that you can become a better person for yourself first, for your family, for your community, and then for the nation. The more of us are willing to self-develop ourselves, the more we'll be able to see change. I'm telling you. The more of us self-develop ourselves, read and educate ourselves, the more we will see change in the world. The more we will see change within ourselves, first and foremost. The more that we will see change within our families, right? Because we all know that our family structure is could be better, right? Our cousins, our aunts and uncles could be better in how they handle certain things. Could be better in how they may handle you. Could be better in how they handle certain situations. So once they see you moving different and how you're developing themselves, right? Because positivity is contagious. Just as negativity is contagious, so is positivity, right? But we need more of us being positive. Right now, negativity is winning, right? Because negativity is all on the blogs. Negativity is all on social media. Negativity is all rampant in our household. So of course we'll be more adapt to do something negative as opposed to positive because we rarely see something that is positive. So again, the more of us are doing something positive, the more we'll see other people start to do something positive. Because just as negativity is contagious, so is positivity. All right, so is positivity. So definitely, we want to make sure those who know. All right, and so those who don't know, we want to make sure that they know. Right, as the saying goes, we want to make sure and make the unconscious conscious. Right, we want to make sure and make the unconscious conscious. So we all have a job to do. Those who know, teach. We all have a job to do. All right, family. So definitely, sister, if you're in here, make sure that you are requesting me to go live. Sister, if you're in here, make sure that you are requesting me to go live. All right. Let me see. Yes. Give thanks. Definitely tap into my website if you haven't done so. Click the link in the bio. Again, dtr360books.com. We are an online bookstore. If you are new to this page, if you are now tapping in with us, if you are now being acquainted with us. All right, sis, make sure you request me. Okay, bet, I see. For some books and resources, definitely you won't be disappointed. All right. What's going on? Peace.
Peace.
How are you, beloved?
I'm great.
Indeed. All right. So family, we are going to get started. All right. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Hotel Islam. Alafia. Whatever greeting you go by, I greet you in the greeting words of peace, love, and happiness. I have the pleasure here tonight of having Abundance Child. Abundance Child has a successful podcast for 5 years that boosted over 450,000 listeners. She's a humanitarian. She calls herself a venture culturalist and only uses veganism as a conduit to bring people together for social change, which is powerful. She's an activist for indigenous rights and is an initiated priestess in an indigenous traditional religion. Furthermore, Abundance Child is the founder and HMIC, which stands for Head Mother in Charge, of Order, Mother Earth, and Motherhood. In addition, she is the founder and head mistress at Girl Society, a rites of passage organization for girls ages 7 through 20. Man, and I would be remiss to not mention that she is the founder and owner of Drop Squad Kitchen.
Right.
So, beloved, again, it's a pleasure and honor to have you on our platform. And again, so this platform is just to help other people be business minded, help other people come into their aura, into their spirituality and purpose in life. I know you probably don't know me personally, but I think I've been to one of your lectures. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I now live out in Jersey. I know that was like a while ago, probably back in 2014, 2016-ish. Um, and somewhere probably around Nicholas, Brooklyn, or
Okay.
Black National Theater in Harlem. And as always, you've given your best as far as speaking and helping others. I just like how you've um, progressed throughout the years of being a business owner and just having knowledge of self, right? Which is key. As I was saying before you came on to this live, we need to continue to learn and explore new things, one, and we need to always continue to develop ourselves, whether it be financially, politically, educationally, emotionally, religiously, or otherwise. We need to always develop ourselves because self-development is the basis for community development. All right. So let's get into it. Sis, tell the people where you're from and what was your upbringing like?
Well, I was born here in Delaware on the Air Force Base. I grew up in a two-parent household. Both parents made like six figures, so I had a very abundant upbringing, Cosby Show style. Like I really lived the Cosby Show life. And my parents were really well. Let's speak for my mom. She was very disciplined. She was very into the old indigenous values of being a young lady. Home economics was key, and it really stuck with me. Like, I remember the day she was like, "You're old enough to clean the bathroom. Let me show you how to clean it. Let me show you how to clean the bathroom." Or, "I have this chicken, put it in the oven. I need it done. Set the table." Make sure everything is cleaned up afterwards. So I grew up with those old school values. You gotta watch your brother.
Right.
Just chores, saving money,
Mm.
making sure I did a lot of extracurricular activities. They were very much into my education. And so I grew up with a very strong family upbringing. I'm not saying it was perfect. We all have our traumas,
Right.
but I'm grateful for it now in retrospect.
Indeed, indeed. And so, how did you become into consciousness? At what age or what circumstance did you begin to have knowledge of self?
3.
Wow.
I remember being in my bedroom and seeing this person like in my bedroom at night, and I was like, and I found out later on that it was my father's mother who had passed 10 years. So that always stuck with me, and even though I stayed silent about it, because in the circles that I ran in with my family, that's paganism. That's evil. Like, we don't talk about those types of things. So when I went to Clark Atlanta University, that was in 1993, I started meeting during the 90s. Atlanta was just a mecca.
Mm.
And I met so many different people from various different walks of life, socioeconomic status, different religious backgrounds, and I was turned
Wow.
out from that
Wow.
point. So by the time I hit 18, all that stuff that was fueling inside of me, like if you look at me when I was running track, I had carry shells on back then. I had
Mm.
head wraps on back then. I had T-shirts that used to say "U.S. imported from Africa" or "I'm the daughter of a field nigger, Negro,"
Right.
stuff like that. I was very much into what people call consciousness now, but that was all because I loved
Uh,
books. My parents
uh,
spent a lot of money in making sure that I went to one of the top schools in the country, and that demanded of us to be well read. I mean,
mm.
for my freshman year, they had summer required reading lists. And I'm like, what in the hell?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
coming from a public school, I was kind of like, this was a school that you had to take a test to get into. There was only 69 people in my graduating class. It was an all school environment. So I have a love of books, the feel of books, the smell of books. I am definitely a bibliophile. And I used to get punished. And my parents would be like, you come downstairs and watch TV with the rest of us. You're not going to just stay upstairs and have your heads in the book. I'm still like that to this day.
Right.
You know, this is like my office.
Nice. Wow.
My store
Yes.
is
Yes.
just nothing but books.
Yes.
So I think that's what led me into consciousness before I knew that that's what it was called. I already had my own self made up at that time because I always had my head in the books.
Man, I love that. I love that. Not, you know, contrary to popular belief, you know, most of the interviewees that I interview with have, you know, have an educational foundation that they grew up on. And we don't talk about that enough, right? And that's kind of like taboo, you know. Now the trendy thing is financial literacy, and everyone is talking about, you know, getting their finances together, which is all well and dandy, you know, the stock market, tapping into, you know, stocks and shares and this and that. But in order for you to be really successful and being an investor or being financially literate, you must be able to read. Right? You must be able to not only read, but to comprehend what you're reading, right? Because there's levels to reading. I always say that reading is good, yes, but comprehension is even better. Comprehension is even better. So let's elaborate a bit, and if you can talk to us, what was one of the first books that you've read that you can remember that basically gave you like a light bulb in your head, like, aha.
Autobiography of Malcolm X.
That was mine too.
Changed my life. I was like, page to page to page, like it was a movie that you didn't want to end.
Facts.
I couldn't believe that was our family, that I was related to this person, like my complexion.
You're related to Malcolm X?
No, we cousins, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, he was brown. Like, I couldn't believe. Now, one of the things with being born with, we're having two parents that both make six figures. Everywhere I went, I was always the only person that looked like me.
Because you're like in the middle class.
Person that looked like me, I was wearing natural hair. I was wearing carry shells. Like, I was so proud. I used to love going to the Delaware State homecomings. That's where my stepfather had graduated from. And my parents had box seats. I was never watching the game. I was always downstairs trying to buy the red, black, and green wristbands and all the crazy T-shirts. And what are these shells? And then finding all the books. Like, the next book might have been The Destruction of Civilization. Francis Cresswell said, I mean, I can just keep going on and on and on and on. And it was just like the rabbit hole just got deeper and deeper. But then when, like I said, when I went to Atlanta, it was a culture shock because everywhere around me when I grew up, nobody looked like me. And the people who did look like me, they was always like, oh, like I was different. You know, like I wasn't having a black experience because of my socioeconomic status or because of the school that I went to. But when I went to Clark, all that went away. And I'm eating at Soul Veg. I'm like, okay, so tell me about the Hebrew Israelite thing. I'm dating a brother. I'm joining that. Next thing you know, I'm visiting the land because I'm dating a brother. He's in the Holy Tabernacle Ministries. But it was the person from, like, I did a lot of finding myself through the brothers that I was dating and the sisters that I was becoming friends with. I'm like a Stellium Pisces, so I'm always becoming whoever it is that I'm dealing with, you know, professionally or personally. So I learned so much, and with that came life experience and more books.
Right. Indeed. As you see, I got the brother Malcolm right here, you know, always representing, man. He has definitely an influence, a plethora of children, young adults, every and anyone that have come into Islam or have just come into knowledge of self. You know, his name, Malcolm X, El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, may Allah be pleased with him. His name almost always pops up. So that's, man, that's deep. That's deep. So I know that you also grew up, as you said, as a child in your parents' household. You grew up with books, and then that transcended over to when you finally had your own house, and your children also growing up with books, growing up with authors, and being spiritually inclined, so to speak. How important was that for to have your children also to grow up spiritually inclined with seeing altars, things of that nature, and then books as well being readily to read at their disposal? How important was that for you?
It it's very important. It's number one. We base everything off of our spirituality. We believe that everything in the physical is a manifestation of something spiritual, meaning everything manifests first in what people would call the psychological or the spiritual realm. That was really important to me once I found that out, to make sure that I continued to make that a way of life. So ancestor altars are up. 2-year-old, 3-year-old daughters are at the ancestor altar. They're there while I'm getting initiated. Um, one of my ancestors were getting birth. They were there. My mom was there.
Mm.
In the same basement where I found an original copy of Black Power, read it. When I found the
By
original
Amos
Soul
Wilson?
Dad Brothers, read it. Still have it. All this stuff is in Drop Squad. It's behind a case because I know how valuable these things are.
Yes.
But that was my mom, because my mom was just like me in college. So all of her textbooks, all of her books from the 70s, I had those and read those in high school. So I found information from Diamond State Telephone Company. They used to put these pamphlets out before Black History Month, talking about Nigerian women, talking about their values, talking about kind of like Shango type of books about the
Mm. Oh,
goddess.
yes. I
Yeah,
love
and these books
his
were put
books.
out by what is now Verizon. And I have all those pamphlets to this day, and I used to read it, and I'm like, well, I want to be like those women. But what was really deep to me was the ancestor spiritual technology, ancestor spiritual science that is hidden in all of these books, whether you're talking about the ISIS papers, whether you're talking about the autobiography of Malcolm X, whether you're talking about um, Black Blueprint to Black Power,
Amos Wilson.
Powernomics. There is an underlying theme or elephant in the room that is ancestral spiritual technology.
Mm.
This information that is being passed off in this word, sound, power, and this spelling of these books. So I was homeschooling my children in the 90s.
Mm.
All right. So my oldest daughter is born in 1995. Before I even had her, I was somebody that was homeschooling other people's children in Atlanta. That's what I
Wow.
did. I watched everybody's children, right? So it was really important that this was a way of life, and that this wasn't something that they saw that was going to be a trend, or because we purport to be conscious. This is our way of life. So
So,
as they got older, I made sure that well, I didn't make sure, but I asked them and they agreed. They're both initiated as well.
okay. Awesome. Man, it's so many questions. So you hit on something. You said that you tutored and you homeschool other people's children, then you homeschool your own children. What was it about homeschool that you was like, you know what? I'm gonna homeschool my children and not send them to private school, or not send them to a charter or even public school. Definitely not public school. But what was it to you that said, you know what, I'm going to homeschool my children no matter what?
What happened is I met Prophet Noble Drew Ali, you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Via the Quran, via actually signing up to and becoming a member of the Moor's Holy Temple of Science, Moor's Holy Science Temple. That was like a lifestyle for me. And once I started finding out information about status, that what we define ourselves doesn't necessarily mean that that is our political status, I felt like, dead press, these schools can't teach us ish. You
Right,
know,
right,
my people
right,
need freedom. We try to get all we can get. So
right.
I'm like, yeah, my all that high class society school stuff that I did, and I never graduated. I have to be completely honest,
Okay,
because I was too busy going to the Bobby Hemmett lectures. I
right.
was too busy going to see Kwame
Yeah,
Ture, formerly known as Stokely
wow,
Carmichael, and joining All African People's Revolutionary Party.
wow.
I was too busy collecting pennies and doing drives for our Saturday breakfast program at Clark Atlanta. Like I was all the way just not going to class, being fresh, having a child at 19. So that really focused me, and I believed all the stuff that Bobby Emmett was saying. I believed all the stuff that the brothers in the Fez were saying at their meetings, and it became my life. And so once I had a daughter, I was like, she's never eating meat. She never
Right.
eating dairy. Again, dead prez was the thing for me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't eat no meat, no dairy, no sweets, only ripe vegetables. That was like my anthem because
Facts.
I was really living that life. So what people are considering to be consciousness now was my way of life. And I've seen so many customers come into Drop Squad Kitchen and talk to my daughters and be like, "Oh, I love your hair. How long have you been natural?" And they'll be like, "Well, I don't know what you mean. I don't understand." Like they never had a perm. They've never been vaccinated.
Good.
So this was
Good.
just a way of life. And
Man,
it's still unfolding. Like,
that's man. Salute to you, sis. Man,
thank you.
definitely. I always say that consciousness should be a way of life, right? Because if you know better, you should do better.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, unfortunately, I call it the so-called conscious community. They ain't really so conscious because they doing the same thing the brother on the streets is doing, and even worse. So it's like, dude, you know better, and yet you're you still acting worse than the brother out on the corner.
Yeah.
So definitely, I always say that consciousness should be a way of life. Everyone loved to quote Brother Malcolm, but I always say, are you disciplined like Brother Malcolm? Or are you a reader like Brother Malcolm? Huh? Are you an orator? And are you willing to teach one like Brother Malcolm? No, they just want to read and then that's it. You need to apply the knowledge.
Yeah.
I always say that knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Because you can have all these books, you can, go to all the lectures and still not be a better person.
True.
Right? So the application of that knowledge makes you a better person. The application and the presentations that you go to and applying it makes you a better person. And as I said earlier, just as negativity is contagious, so is positivity. But unfortunately, we see more negativity, so we are more inclined to do that which is negative. If we see more positivity, we will be more inclined to do that which is positive. Right. So we need more sisters like you. We need more brothers like me. Everyone who, again, know better should do better so that it can brush off of, people who may not be so conscious, right? So the conscious should convert, the conscious should convert to the unconscious, right? So, man, definitely, again, I salute you. And speaking of the Moor Science Temple and the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, again, may Allah be pleased with him as well, who got his science and his knowledge from Kemet, right? And he brought it over here to the Americas. So you said this. You stated that you was a part of the Moor Science Temple. What are some things that still stick with you today?
We're not Negro, black, colored, or African American. That is a
Yeah. So
misnomer.
explain that. Explain that.
We are the only people in the world that are being defined as an adjective or a color. And it really has no standing in law. According to Federal Directive 15 in this own United States that most people, I mean, most people are identifying with. Nobody's
Right.
walking around here. They're US citizens, right?
Right.
That's what you check off in order to get your credit cards, in order to
Passport.
have anything, not just passports, just IG accounts, all types of stuff. Pretty much everybody has a state on there or something that they identify with. Most people don't say that they are in Peru. So I'm just trying to be realistic about it. But what I feel like he taught me was that there is a political standing, and that we are a nation of people, and we're not black, we're not Negro, we're not colored, we're not African American, any of these things that carry a certain classification. Federal Directive 15 says that there's no anthropological designation for any of these terms. It's strictly about status. So once I learned those types of things, it was freeing up for me, because since I'm into ancestor spiritual technology, I'm like, maybe I'm not moving forward because I'm not identifying with how my ancestors identified.
And how did they identify?
Well, they are Native American, or I would say Mesoamerican, American Indian. We also have some that are from the other side of the pond. We have Ghana,
Right.
we have Benin in my family. So that's where those ancestors were really trying to work with me to get some of these downloads and some of these formulas that I could be using to uplift my own family on a spiritual level so that I can have certain protections. Do you understand what I'm saying? And also so that it definitely has helped me in my restaurant. Some of these downloads, I have been able to create some of the most profound replacements for people who, like myself, don't desire to eat meat anymore.
Right.
I can't I can't even say I don't desire to eat meat. I've never lost the desire to eat meat, but I know that it is not a healthy situation. I'm not growing my own meat. I'm not growing my own. I'm not growing my own stuff. I don't know what is in that cellophane packaging at the store. So, and I have tried several times to go back to eating meat, to be honest.
Okay.
And it was just a terrible flu-like experience. And I just knew back then, it was like maybe around the time, or 2003 when I did that, it's just a no. It was just like, no, your body doesn't want this. So in order for me to have sanity, my ancestors have given me some great recipes for fried chicken, ribs, macaroni, cheese, greens, candy yams, just the way so that we can have fellowship, because food is culture. It's our history. There's DNA in food that we're taking on into our body. So I think it's very important the things that we choose to eat. So all of these things that we're talking about were part and parcel to why I liked Moor Science. Moor Science made me feel like somebody where none of the other movements made me feel like that. I felt like we were more than what was being taught. I knew that there was more. I knew when I was in 6th grade and they forced us to watch Roots. And again, I was one of the only people in that school, Holy Cross. I felt like this. Like, are you trying to tell me that the only reason why we exist in the United States is because of slavery?
Right.
That did something to my self-confidence. I remember it did something to my esteem and from that point, I have been searching. I have been searching until I tapped into my ancestors and I realized you can just go directly to your ancestor and talk to them. They're not actually receiving a plate of food or anything. You know what I mean? It's the energy
Right.
of me saying, here, have some of my vegan fried chicken or some real fried chicken, and place it there and just say, I just want you to know I recognize you, I honor you, I thank you. I'm going through something right now. And if you know what my heart is, ancestors. I gave away $40,000 last year to the people. I've been having some problems.
Yeah,
It's slow out here, right?
Yeah.
I said, if I could just get back 1% of what I gave people, in 3 days, we raised $15,000. That's some ancestral technology right there.
Right, right.
That was me recognizing who I am. I am the accumulation of all the ancestors that walked before me.
Right.
Now, I have that in me.
Yeah, we all
I am ordained. You know what I mean? As a human, as a being, I am present. I have the right to be here. So I'm going to summon all of y'all, all this thing that made me, and we're going to manifest some abundance. Because I know that this is my legacy. This is for my children. I work too hard, open and close, 7 days a week for a measly $13,000.
Man, so let's talk about that, because I seen a flyer posted around, and this is why I hit you up. I'm like, listen, I want to have you on my platform because I thought that you were still raising money. But let's talk about that. Why, in the first place, was you in a financial need? Was it because of COVID, or was it because you wasn't getting the financial support from the people? Like, what was it?
I am great with food. I am great with people. And I'm going to be even greater at managing money, because that is my challenge in this life. Like I said, I'm a Stellian Pisces. I am abundant shot. That money comes in, that money goes out. So much that, let's say my rent is $2, I always pay $3.
Okay.
Because my mom said during the winter time, this is seasonal. We're located on the river. The storefront is actually on the river. Nobody's coming out here in the winter
Right.
like that. Right? So she was like, you need to always have $30,000 in your bank account for these slow times, baby.
Mm.
But I work hard and so I play hard. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to take some of that. And we're going to Africa. We're going to go to Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, wherever we traveling to, because we work hard, we play hard. So I'm thinking, I have all these credits. I'm getting an email like, we need to address this 12,894 balance that you have. Your credits ran out in 1222. I'm like, well, damn,
Wow.
1222. You're saying that I haven't paid rent since 1222. I'm like, well, I got, this month's rent. I can pay that. They're like, well, we're going to take legal action.
Wow.
And I just made a decision right then and there. At first, I was thinking, oh, man, I'm a bunny child. What are people going to think? Like, oh, she's broke, all of this type of stuff. My daughter said to me, Mom, is that your ego?
Yeah.
It's funny how the Most High will speak to your children. And I was
Right.
like, huh. And I was like, right. I love doing what I do. I love serving the people. I love the space that I have for the people. I'm not going out like this for
Mm.
$13,000.
Right.
Like, that's something that we make in a week. Like, come on.
Right.
So because of more science and learning the difference between on the national side and learning the difference between private and public, I've never taken any SBA loans. I didn't take any of that COVID money. I didn't need to. I was thriving. I didn't want to be greedy.
Okay.
And I'm seeing all types of people around me flourish, and I'm like, that's their destiny, abundance. You stay focused. I never took any money from anybody or anything. So I decided, I remember myself during my blog talk days, Abundance Child. What was my tagline? Always for the people. I'm going to go to those people. And I'm telling you, got on my knees. I went to my ancestors. I gave them some gin. I gave them some food. I gave them some coffee. I just want to have a conversation. Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Is this my legacy? Is this actually my ministry? Is my ministry using food to bring people together so that we can advocate for social change? Yes. All right, then. I just, right then and there, my name is Abundance Child. I'm the founder of Drop Squad Kitchen. I've had a death in my family. We've have a lot of mental health issues going on right now in my family. I've been having to focus on things. I need $13,000 to keep the door open. And within 3 days, I had over $15,000.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Man, the people have finally came through.
They've been coming through. But you know what else came through? It was just like, sister, I run this kind of firm, a brokerage firm. Pro bono, would you be interested in me helping you with some strategies? You got investors coming out the woodworks talking about, we need a Drop Squad Kitchen. Your food is crazy. All I had to do was be real. Stop faking. Not that I was faking, but trying to behave as if you have it all together. I tried. It doesn't work. I'm a hot mess. I'm a
We
work
all
in
are.
progress. You know what I
We all
mean?
are.
And I'm very good at food. I'm very good at bringing the people together and organizing, doing events. But I just did my food costs like 2 years ago. I did not understand running a business. I have to be honest. I might know how to tell
But
you how
you
to do an
did
LLC or
right.
S corp. I'm great at that, but actually, how to do the day-to-day operations of a business, I've been
But
faking
that's
it and
okay.
making it.
That's okay because you learn along the way. There's a saying that goes, don't wait for your business to become perfect, then run it. You can run your business until you perfect it, right? So far too often we, sit down on a gold mine because we want it to become perfect, as opposed to just establishing it, and learning along the way. Again, as I said earlier, every day we should learn something new. This is why reading is key. This is why application and the execution is key. Business books, right? Articles, The Insider, CNN, or what have you. Malcolm X said again, quoting Malcolm X, that he said, I always read books because it will cure my curiosity, right? So what is it that you're curious about? Read on that subject. You want to become an restaurant owner. Get some books, on business, get some books on how it was done, and you go along the way. You would never perfect something in weeks, in months, in years. No, start now. Start now, learn along the way to perfect it, to perfect your craft. Because as you learn, so you grow. As you grow, so you earn. And as you earn and learn, you get to teach one, and it will flow that way.
Yeah.
So, what was it, taking us back? What was it to you that said, listen, I want to establish a vegan restaurant?
I have been talking about it forever since I was in Atlanta. I came back to Delaware. It's a food desert. And at the time I became vegan, which was 1993, the most they had was Morningstar Farms tofuti type stuff. Kellogg's been having vegan stuff since the World War II. They've been making fake meat products, right? So that's what's been on the market. And because I had young girls at the time, I didn't ever want them to be shamed the way that I was shamed by my family and friends, being like, oh, she's vegan, you know, the little jokes.
Yeah.
So if we were having burgers, I would bring the burgers. So they never missed or skipped a beat. And when I used to always sit around not knowing the power of my mouth, the ashe of my mouth, saying one day I'm going to have my own vegan restaurant. The main thing that happened was Dr. Sabi. He used to call me and be like, girl, I got $1 million idea. And he's like, yo, you really should be cooking food. Your food is good.
Wow.
Your food is good. I used to be like, okay. And one day, it just really hit me. It wasn't just one day. It was a few things that happened. We were doing, remember Polite used to do a lot of the food for the King Simon events?
Yeah.
Well, I was partnering with King Simon silently back then and doing the blog talk radios and promotion for what he was doing for the event. But Polite started doing more stuff like out of New York. So King Simon was like, your food is really good. Do you want to take over for Polite?
Right.
And the response was just incredible and it was amazing. And I was like, wow, I really like doing this and I'm good at it. It's really a gift. Simultaneously, my mom was tired. Molly's Old Fashioned Ice Cream was her retirement project. And she's like, I don't know why I thought to do retail, restaurant, food as a retirement project. Like, this is hard, like doing the work that I'm doing now. She's like, I think I'm going to be out in 5 years. And she said, well, why don't you stop going all up to New York, driving your car up there? Why don't you just tell the people your food is here? So I started a text list. That text list blew up. That text list blew up into a menu. My mom was like, people are not coming in here for ice cream. They're coming in here for your smoothies, your sea moschino, your kale salads, your fake veggie burger, your fake burgers and stuff like that. And I would do something called Soul Food Saturdays. And every Saturday, I would just be like, okay, I'm making oxtails today. I'm making steak. I'm making pork chops. All the stuff that I didn't see any other vegan could do. I'm making fish. And this, I'm telling you, was like 2012. I got rid of Blog Talk Radio and I became full-time Drop Squad Kitchen. I had a 300% increase over my mother. And I just kept doing what I do, right? I'm going to be publishing one day The Abundance Method. Because everybody said you can't do business like this. You need to take loans. You need to use other people's money. Now, I believe that that is true. But I also believe in status. And I believe in having sovereignty in our affairs. So I don't do business like that. And all I did was go to the people, which showed me that I must be doing something right. Most of the comments was like, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. The people gave me the energy. They gave me the confidence to just be myself. So I'm always doing something that says Book of Abundance. One day Book of Abundance will be published because it's Book of Abundance, How to Build a Family Legacy. And I'm telling you, I didn't do it with the United States or any of the state franchises or any of their money. It can be done. I virtually I'm actually using Drop Squad Kitchen like Girl Scouts uses Girl Scout cookies. We fund our own.
Right.
And when I need something, I'm going to my own.
Right.
And the way I'm going to be accountable to you is keep these doors open, keep serving good food, keep having good customer service, keep being available when the people need me. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not interested in anybody's franchises or anything like that unless we're family and we're going to do it as a family because this is work. And I have a lot of learning to do.
Right. Indeed, man. And I'm big on family business. I'm big on family, period. But it's great that you have incorporated and implemented your daughter and family into the business. And then I want to say that also, that the power of unity and the power of us helping and supporting one another is incredible and so rewarding. When you can go to people that look like you and say, I would like a donation, help me out. I'm in a financial situation, and you get that, and then some. It's incredible, and I love it when we help one another, because if I'm helping you, I'm helping me. If you're helping me, you're helping you, because we are one. We are one. And so the more we think like that and the more we act like that, the more progress of trajectory we will see, right? Onward and forward. First, I would like to say, how did you get the name Drop Squad Kitchen?
Remember the movie Drop Squad?
Nah.
Oh
It was,
man, get that. Give me that. It's right
it
there
was a
by the.
movie?
Yeah. Now, and you know I'm very nostalgic, so I have my actual
Okay.
VHS.
Nah, I don't remember that. Okay, it was dope.
It is dope.
I gotta
Um,
check it out.
so basically, the Drop Squad is an outlaw organization that abducts and deprograms African Americans who exploit and or deny their cultural heritage. Its latest target is Bruford Jameson Jr., LaSalle, an advertising executive who creates ads the squad considers racially offensive because he's going and putting Church's Chicken in the community, St. Ives in the community, right? He's selling sex to the community through these commercials, and they're like, this is offensive. This is
Right.
not how we view our churches. We're not using it to sell chicken. So basically the squad goes and they have this paddy wagon, all black. Everybody's dressed like Black Panthers and red, black, and green. And they actually kidnap these people and take them off the street and force them to watch stuff like 12 Years a Slave and
Wow.
remember who you are.
Right.
Why are you out here selling crack to the people, right? And I was like, yo, we need a drop squad for the kitchen.
Right.
Unapologetically healthy by any degrees necessary. Let me come in and show you. You can have your soul food, but let me show you how to alkaline it based off of Dr. Sabi, Queen of Fua, Dr. Africa, Ali, Muhammad, Inky. We got so many powerful people out here. I studied all of their diets. I can make anything. Ali Muhammad was just here. I was like, bro, let me make you the best, the dopest fried chicken sandwich. And I'm not going to use any of the oils that you say we shouldn't use. I'm not going to use mushrooms. And I did it. I made it with jackfruit. Other people, they're on the Sabi diet. I got oyster mushrooms from you. I got chicken in the woods, nice and foraged by my brother over here. So what I'm saying is, Drop Squad Kitchen, unapologetically healthy. That's what I'm about.
Mm. How important is family business to you?
It's my business.
Mm.
We are a family that is in business as a family, you know? Like, this is our work. This is our prayer. It is the hardest thing I have ever done in my life. The hardest.
Mm.
And now my girls are 20 and 27. It is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. So the way I have our stuff set up in the Abundance Method is Abundance Child Ministries pays for, I kind of just copied the Catholic Church.
Okay.
So we provide food, shelter, clothing, transportation, communication, education, and a living stipend for them to go and get things that they need to get. So I wanted my children to never have to want for anything. So as long as you put in this work, then you don't ever have to worry about rent. You don't have to worry about car. You don't have to worry about having a cell phone. None of those types of things. Because I grew up watching all my children, Young and the Restless, Dynasty. And I'm looking at these people, the families lived in one house.
Mm.
You know, people worked for their families' companies and got rich and they did their own thing and had more mergers. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's how we should be living, in trust. You know what I mean? So that's what I decided to do. I don't have any employees at Drop Squad Kitchen, not one W-2 employee. And everybody's like, oh, but you need, now you can't get the $30,000 for people. Hey, I get it another way. We don't have any employees. I know what an employee is, and I'm not a slave. I'm not going to be a slave master.
Right, right,
So we
right.
pay people in stipends. You work here because you want to work here,
Mm,
because we're a family.
right,
We're an egg bay. You don't get paid because you work here. You
right.
get paid a stipend,
Mm,
and you can use that. Um, a stipend is not taxable, but if you want to get taxes back at the end of the year, then you need to document it as a stipend and say that this was reimbursed for something, and
right. And
then you can use it for your taxes.
yeah, and I mean they can also get a 1099 as well.
We're not doing all of that.
Right, right.
I don't want them to,
I
like, for people
mean,
who
but
don't
that's
want
if
to
they
be
want
in
to
that
do
system.
taxes.
Hmm?
I mean, that's if they want to do taxes, right?
Right, but if the people around me not really trying to deal with state IDs and license, because that's for state, those are for residents of that state.
Mm-hmm,
Are
mm-hmm,
you admitting that you are a resident of a fiction?
mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at with that. And so I
Yeah,
provide different ways for people to be able to have employment.
right. And then with Delaware, you don't pay state taxes in Delaware anyway, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. So,
Oh
I
no,
like
I
the
want people
family.
to know that there are state taxes. There is a Delaware internal revenue. What you don't get taxed on, or like when you go shopping and stuff like that. So it's
Okay,
tax free in that way. But there's definitely internal revenue services for state of Delaware. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, thank you for clearing that up.
you're welcome.
So again, I like the family business part. Why? Because again, you are you are growing your children up in business, so they have a different outlook on business, and they have a different perception of how business goes, so on and so forth, because they grew up in it. And then again, as I said before, as you're learning, you can also teach them, and they're learning. So essentially, you all are learning together how to run a business and how to make that particular business better. Um, do you see Drop, Drop Squad Kitchen venturing out to other states, New York, Harlem, possibly Jersey, Connecticut, tri-state area, or even Midwest, or what have you?
Joe Squad Kitchen worldwide.
Okay,
Via our programming, Order Mother Earth and Girls Society, we will continue to use it as our fundraising program so that the women in our family, my daughter's 27, she's at the age where she's going to start having children, things like that. We have rites of passage organizations on every level, and we need to not have to worry about funding. That's what Drop Squad Kitchen is. So anybody else who wants to be a part of that and understands that anybody who's a part of our organization, you're a part of our organization. So it's Intercontinental Church of Nature. Abundance Child Ministries is the umbrella under that umbrella, and Drop Squad Kitchen is the trademark.
mm,
I do business as Abundance Child Ministries, not Drop
okay,
Squad Kitchen. Drop
okay.
Squad Kitchen is our food ministry.
And if they want to tap in with you, how can they contact you?
AbundanceChild at gmail.com or dropsquadkitchen@gmail.com.
Awesome. So before
Or
we leave,
social media. It's
right,
Abundance Child Drop Squad on everything.
right,
Yeah.
right. So beloved, so before we leave, I want you to talk about health for a bit. How important is one's health? And was you always vegan? If not, what propelled you to go vegan?
I grew up eating standard African American diet, pork, everything.
Mm,
I went to Clark Atlanta, and I told you I met a plethora of people that I have never experienced, even to this day, in my
right.
life. And every book that I was told to read, there was an element of our diet in it.
Mm,
And there were an abundance of places for us to eat vegan food. And everybody that I wanted to be around, this is a true story, they were vegan. And because I didn't value myself and who I was at the time. I'm still struggling with that now, but I'm much better. Not like I was before, because I would never make this lie up like I did back then. But I was from Delaware, and I was meeting people from exotic places. like Cameroon and LA. They're like, where are you from? Delaware? I didn't know there was any black people in Delaware. I'm vegan.
Right.
I was not freaking vegan. It was just a conversation piece. But you can't go to the hall and eat your chicken and stuff like that because you know told everybody you vegan, right? But next thing you know, my skin started clearing up, my cycle changed, my state of my emotions were changing. And by November of 1994, I was like, Mom, I'm not eating no meat. I'm serious. And I was serious and I never looked back except a couple times because, you know, I was dealing with brothers and I wanted to cater to them. They're like, listen, I ain't gonna be. And I tried, but my body just didn't allow me to do it, right? So that's what propelled me to be vegan was because all the people that I loved and I wanted to be around, they were vegan. Right. They were the most educated, the most knowledgeable, but they all had that one thing in common. They didn't eat meat or dairy.
Or pork,
and
right.
So by the time 1995 rolls around, I'm pregnant. So I'm like, oh, it's a wrap. I was raw vegan by that time when I was raw vegan like most of my pregnancy for my oldest daughter. So I went through all the gamut of different vegan levels and lifestyles. And I'm fairly comfortable where I'm at now, where I consider myself plant-based.
Okay.
Because I love my Adidas. You know, I'm also part of an indigenous religion, so I mean, there's that. But I eat plant-based, and I'm telling you, I just did a change recently. I did a 5-day water fast. I was supposed to do 10, but I was like, I work in Drum Squad Kitchen.
Right.
It was just like, yo.
With all this food around.
Right. And I just lost it, and I feel like I got to restart it. But 5 days, and I just decided to keep drinking the water, and like I was on the water fast.
Yeah.
So like at least a gallon a day. Just treating my body the same way I was on the water fast. And it has been life changing. It was not the first time I did a water fast. I don't believe in doing the long water fasts, but I did want to have a mental reset. And like right now, I'm drinking dandelion, burdock, and sarsaparilla because I like coffee. I really like coffee. And all the Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks now have oat milk. But I'm like, this is ridiculous. I know about Starbucks. I know how they use aborted baby. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're just, what are you doing? So I created this. I'll let that brother know we're closed. I created this, not you, James. She can't do it. I created this so that that's what I do. Right. That's what I do. I want to make sure that we have transitional foods and things like that because I know what it's like. And also, I'm getting older. I'm 48 years old. My body is changing. I can't eat the same way I did at 20.
Stop it. 48.
My daughter's 27.
You looking like 28, girl.
No, stop. Okay, stop.
Nah, serious.
I am 48 years old.
Wow.
I just turned 48 on March 17th. I am proud. I earned it. But like I said, my back was hurt. Oh, the main thing was because I have spinal lumbar stenosis. I shouldn't have been continuing to do martial arts. I'm a green belt in jiu-jitsu, and we throw a lot. And you know, this is what I'm saying. Just the love of yourself to just be like, no, for real, I'm hurt. I'm not faking. I'm hurt. Right. You know what I mean? Right. But you don't want nobody to think you faking. So I just continue to train. That was the worst thing I could do. Do you know I wasn't really able to walk for the past 2 years? Like people would see me, they just wouldn't know. So that was the main reason I did the water fast. I realized like the chiropractor's not working. I do yoga incessantly. None of this stuff is working. So I said one thing I haven't tried was to stop putting certain things in my mouth. So that's why I did the water fast. And I realized it's the inflammation. Yeah. I was eating vegan food.
And the mucus.
Right. The foods that I was eating because I'm good at it. Like, but you don't have to eat your cheesesteak every day. You don't have to eat the V-ribs, the fried chicken, macaroni and cheese. Right. So there's levels to this. So I decided to do the water fast and reset. And right now I'm kind of like, I'm good with bread. I'm back to my wild rice. I'm back to my savvy list pretty much.
Couscous, right.
No couscous.
No?
More quinoa.
Wow.
If I want grits, I'll probably have the grits, but I know I can make fonio taste like grits. But I'm just saying I'm really being a little bit more conscious and I'm actually eating because a lot of times I would forget to eat because I work so much.
You work, yeah.
And be picking. And, oh, we made a mistake. I'll eat the cheesesteak. I made a mistake on the shake. I'll eat that. I'm like, no. I'm a fresh pressed juice every morning. I'm going to drink my water. And after I have 3 quarts of water, I'm going to put something in my mouth and it's going to be something good.
Oh yeah.
And if I'm going to have coffee, it's going to be this tea that I made. If I'm going to have anything sweet, it's because I made it and I know what's in it. And we're going to use coconut sugar, maple syrup, or dates, or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But I really started getting conscious about that. And I noticed also that I've been less, my responses emotionally haven't been the same. So I think we don't give, I'm going back to my whole philosophy to why I started Drop Squad.
Right.
The revolution really is in the kitchen because nobody can force you to force feed you the stuff that you put. It's completely voluntary. It's a completely voluntary situation what we put in our mouths.
Right. Right. And then also we should see about growing our own foods as well, right? Because that is revolutionary within itself. I've just seen that Bill Gates, he bought up about 80% of land within the
Of
US itself.
course he did.
So why would he do that? Why would he do that? So he know that land is vital, is very important.
Black
Uh,
gold.
right. And you can really terminate the land, uh, or you can fertilize the land and to make sure that it grows its proper fruits and vegetables. And with something that I think they said, statistically speaking, back in 1910, about 80 to 90% of farmers were African or Black owned. Today in 2023, about 1% or even less than
One half,
1% are,
less than one half of
let,
1%.
is African is African or Black owned.
Yep.
So that just goes, and most of those of us who have lost the land was bought out, just like most of us who have lost our houses and properties was bought out by these European developers, by these European farmers, because they know the value of ownership. And so this is why education and reading is so important. If we've had that knowledge and passed it down from generation to the generation, we will say, no, this is our tradition. I'm going to keep my land. I'm going to keep the land that my great, 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 great grandfather owned. I'm going to keep this house that my great, 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 great grandmother owned, because this is our family legacy. And this is how we pass down generational wealth.
If you look at the records, which a lot of us are not doing, and knowing our genealogy, we'll find out that we weren't Black. You know what I mean? We'll find out that we had a different status and they took away those status via racial integrity acts. And we're just giving our birthright trying to be something that we're not. A lot of us aren't descendants of Africans. And so we did give up our birthright because somebody told us that we were slaves. And then they put the people who are the permanent race and miscegenated people and marketed them to us as the Native Americans, right? So we have a lot of work to do.
Yes.
And we have a lot of healing to do. And that's why I'm very blessed and honored that my ancestors led me to food. Because it was, even in COVID, it was considered an essential, and it's whatever you call it, like an essential company.
Yes.
So we didn't have to shut down. And I realized that this is a good industry to be in, because we can, if you want to know about history, you can just follow the food, actually. Follow the food. Like where is food indigenous from? And if you start getting into that and really start understanding about nationality and who you are, not nationality on the Moor Divine and National Movement, what they are presenting. I'm talking about on a family level. Who is your mother and who is your father?
Okay.
On that type of level. And we start building with other families, that to me, that is key. And we're not going to be able to do that without the land and without the food. And so that's why my main partner, the person that I created Icon with, he grows food.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Powerful.
yeah,
Powerful.
it is powerful. And we
more.
haven't even got to get to that level where all of Drop Squad Kitchen food could come from that land, but at least we started.
Right.
At least we're doing program, and the programs right now every year are teaching the children. So, and if we don't do it, I know somebody's children, somebody one day is going to remember we learned how to do this from the Lassiter Financial Group. You know, this is what he does. He goes into the community centers and grows watermelons and all these organic fruits and vegetables and teaches the children, and then turns around and cooks for them and teaches them how to cook. Those are the type of partnerships that I have. I'm not worried about the franchises. I'm worried about, do we have real skill sets that can survive another 100, 200 years? Because right now, we're just giving away our birthright. We're just giving away our land. And the beautiful thing about our ancestors, all these books that you have on that page, that is our legacy. They gave us everything. We really don't have to do too much thinking. They gave us everything.
But what we do need to do is act, execute, and apply
They're
the
waiting on us.
knowledge
Yeah.
that was given to us through books, through oral speeches, and so forth. This is just my opinion, and I know you have to go, but I just think that this generation and then the one that's coming up after my generation, I'm an 80s baby, right? So you have like the Gen Zs and everything like that. Most of us are a bit too lazy. And I blame this thing here that we're talking on because of technology. Technology can hurt us or technology can heal us and benefit us. But most of us use technology in a negative, docile way. Right? It's slowing down our process. 99% of our daily activities and operations is orchestrated on this cellular device. And the more that we are seeing it and using it, it's hurting our eyes. So that's one health defect that we don't even think of, right? Our vision, being able to see clearly. You just stated that you love the physicality of books. Most of us have ebooks now and audiobooks, diverting away from the physicality of books, being able to turn the page physically, being able to write on the page, highlight the page physically. Most of us aren't doing that anymore. So technology in a lot of ways has hindered us and slowed down our progress in a lot of ways, which is unfortunate. I do want to touch on this topic real quick. What do you think about relationships in today's society?
I think that, especially for people that look like us, it's a challenge. It's a challenge, but I do feel like our challenge is our destiny. I feel like our challenge is our errand. The things that, for example, if you know, like they say, oh, well, you're a Pisces, and these are all the good qualities. You're original, you're creative, you're intuitive, but you're not good with this. You're not good with your emotions. You're over emotional. You're not to be trusted. To me, all of those things are what you're here to do. So I feel like because there is such an amazing challenge going on in our relationships, I feel like that is going to be our biggest achievement. That is the thing that's going to unify us. That is the thing that's going to, where we will have victory over all things.
Right.
Because we will come back together. All that other stuff that we're worrying about, I don't, that are distractions and that we judge. I don't believe in judging anybody or anything because everything is ordained to me by the Creator, right? We have eyes and we have different levels of incarnation. So your eyes have seen what your eyes have seen. And so you can only speak to your perspective. I can only speak to mine. But the challenge in relationships, it's a lack of balance of divine masculine and divine feminine.
Yes.
I think that's going to be our biggest achievement because we are the founders of all creation. So there's no way that we're not going to get it right. It's just going to take time. But when we get it, oh my goodness, and when we get it, and we will get it, it's going to be like Zion to me.
Indeed, definitely. Too many women are acting like men. Too many men are acting like women. Too many men are feminine. Too many women are masculine. Definitely, but inshallah.
That's going to cancel itself out. What's important is if you have a mother and if you have a father, those are your living ancestors. That's the best way to appease your ancestors. The best way to appease your ancestors is to do you, to be on your personal errand and your mission and do it right, because the only thing that's going to save you at the end of the day is how you treat people, right? Your ways, deeds, and actions. That's the only thing that's going to save you. That's the thing that's going to save us. Everybody should just really focus on being themselves. It doesn't have anything to do with anybody's religion. That's your personal mediumship and your relationship with God. But how you treat yourself is representative of how you treat the earth. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
certain things are going to cancel themselves out because you can't get any children from man and woman and woman.
Exactly.
That's a distraction. People need to have their incarnation. Being a human is a major experience. You know what I mean? I feel bad for somebody who was born as a man but just feels like he's a woman. That is a deep human experience. The only reason we're having these experiences is because of what we did yesterday. And yesterday could have been the past lifetime of 10 hours ago, 3 months ago, 1 year ago, or 100 years ago. Either way, we are the accumulation of those ancestral experiences. So I don't think we have anything to worry about, not based off all the books that I've read, and
Right.
because of who I see in front of me right now and who I am. I know who my daughters are. I know who I am. We're going to be all right. And I'm
Indeed.
going to
Indeed.
teach them how to be all right amongst the people who I think are not all right.
Mm.
They're sick.
Yes.
Everybody has
Very
to
sick.
evolve, right?
Yes.
We're not here to judge, but we're here to do the work. So let's just do the work.
Of course, definitely, definitely. As you said before, beloved, we need healing, we need education, and we need healthy foods
And we need
to
money. We need
and money.
finance. It
Right,
takes
right.
finance to uplift.
Exactly, exactly. And finance to help us to fuel where we need to go. Family, if you are now tuning in, or if you have been with us through the start, thank you so much. Thank you for rocking with us for this 60 plus minutes. I trust that you've learned something, and I trust that whatever you've learned, that you will apply the knowledge, whether it be going to read a book and applying it from there, whether it be looking at a documentary and teaching one of what you just learned, whatever it be, whatever it may be, make sure that you apply it in some way, execute it, and implement it in any way, shape, or form. We have had the pleasure and honor of talking and building with Abundance Child. Thank you so much. I trust that we'll do a part 2 soon. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your business and all that you desire. I trust that the Most High will grant whatever you desire to you. Yes. Family, and also click the link in the bio to see the full interview on YouTube. DTR 360 Books will be our YouTube channel. Click the link in our bio for the YouTube channel. It will be on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and any other podcast that you may be on. Beloved, close us out with a message to our young girls.
Babies, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. Honor your mother, honor your father, respect your decision to choose them. You chose them for a reason. And I know it seems hard and I know it seems difficult, but they are your guide. They are your angels on earth. They are your gods on earth. And all you have to do is just listen to your parents or whoever you respect as an elder. It's really important because what you do today, you're going to see it tomorrow.
And with that, I leave you as I greet you, family. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom, shalom, hotep, Islam, Alafia. Peace.